Our viewers told us which board games they've been playing and why, and we've picked a bunch to share with you. There's some old favourites, a dash of the newest hotness, and several surprises in this month's People's Choice selections. A midnight bell tolls on the streets of Wildgrens as the villagers shutter their windows against the darkness. Something moves through the night in the forest, through the fields, across the old battlefield. The isolated village is in danger. Also, there's maybe witches in the solo game Witchcraft. Witchcraft is a fast-playing card-driven solitaire game where you lead a coven of witches in a fantasy world where magic is real and so are several monsters. This one builds on the hidden and revealed mechanism of resist. You decide when to use magic to defeat the challenges that face you, but that means revealing yourself to the fellow villagers and being imprisoned for witchcraft. Not ideal. As you complete missions and defeat enemies, you need to prove to the villagers that magic is not evil and convince a jury that you are protecting the village. It's viewer Amanda that tells us that this game was a blast to play. It gives you a brain-burning puzzle, that could have been witches, where you have to constantly weigh the risk and benefit of your decisions. Interesting characters with unique abilities lest you rewrite history a little in favour of witches, and there were cool animal allies you could make, which I'm supposing is probably a benefit. For what I understand, this game is all about making those tough decisions because you have abilities, your characters have abilities, and they are definitely better if you're a witch, and everyone knows it. But you don't want to be out as a witch because I'll get you for it. That's a tough thing to do because you're just trying to save the village. Just trying to save the village with my dark magic. And it's cool because the more missions that you do, the more you can persuade people on the jurors, to be in your favour. But obviously, the more missions you achieve, the more that you may have exposed yourself as being witches. It's a tantalising whatever this is. But before the next game, here is a message from the sponsor who, in part, helped make this episode possible.
Ultimatch challenges you and your friends to cooperatively make your way up the pyramid in this colorful, addictive card matching game. Make progress by making matches by number or color, using either one or two cards, addition or subtraction, and mixing card colors. Make a perfect match of both number and color and gain the rewards of an Ultimatch. I have never accomplished that, but I hear it is nice. The pyramid includes both public and private cards, requiring clever decision-making. Will you risk a card now or save it for later? Can you guess what card your other players need? Silently trade cards face down with other players? Push your luck and call on players to read each other's minds, or at least faces. You gotta know what they're thinking is the point in this game, because every match is a mini win, and win or lose, Ultimatch will keep players coming back for more. Ultimatch arrives in stores on June 12th, but you can follow the link in this video's description, that's what you can do, to pre-order it directly from the Fireside Games website. Light up your next game night by striking a match with Ultimatch.
You've built housing for humanity in neighbourhoods and New Las Vegas. Now you need to save humanity through space colonization. Sounds completely reasonable to me. The 1 to 6 player Welcome to the Moon uses the same flip and right game mechanisms as earlier Welcome 2 titles, but now you can play in a campaign across 8 adventure sheets. On a turn, you flip cards from 3 stacks to create 3 different combinations of starship number and a corresponding action. Then all players choose one of these 3 combinations. You use the numbers to fill a space in a zone on your adventure sheet in numerical order, and everybody is racing to be the first to complete different missions. The 8 adventure sheets feature very different mechanisms than Welcome to the Moon. The concept is that when you play in a campaign mode, you'll make choices that change the next adventure, which means each campaign will be different from the previous campaign. Now I'll tell you something about Welcome to the Moon. Oh, I'll tell you something. A deep and dark secret. Yeah. I'm playing it myself right now. I'm playing through the whole campaign. It's great. Me and Paula are playing it over Zoom, which is possible. And it's really fun at the moment. I'm really enjoying it. There's a whole campaign book and there's decisions, and depending on what you did on the thing, there's decisions to go through. And then you play through. They say player sheets, but they're not just sheets. They're dry erase boards, right? So when you finish playing through the campaign once, and then you play through the whole campaign again with extra different cards in a whole box that we've not even touched, of cards that we've not even used yet. What's in here? Mysteries. There's other boxes in here. I don't know what's in them. We're still just playing for the first bunch of missions. I'm really, really enjoying it. But then the game's completely resettable, like you never touched it because the cards are numbered. It's brilliant. I am really enjoying Welcome to the Moon. And every time you look at one of these boards, you go, how the heck does this work? And then you read the rules and you go, oh, okay, I see. I get what you're doing there. It's excellent. The 2 to 5 player card game Volumino allows you to depict the merciless struggle for cycling brilliance that is so evident in the animal kingdom. The goal of the game is to race to the summit to score as many points as possible and claim the coveted winner's jersey. To win a race, you must be the first player to get rid of all your cards, just like any other race, and racers' cards may be placed alone or in specific combinations of the same colour or of the same value. And there are also these breakaway specialist cards. They're like these rabbit cards, which are super powered. Kenneth K says that a quick 5-round game with some really interesting gameplay. The best part is that the number of points you earn each round is increased. So the first few rounds, everyone's learning and getting a sort of tutorial on how the game plays. Then once everyone starts to get the hang of how to play, the last 2 rounds are great fun, as these are the rounds that really matter. Every time I play with a new group of people, they write down the game as one they would like to add to their collection. Plus the theme, animals riding on bikes, very unique. Thing with Volumino is there's a trick to the way you play your cards, right? You play down 1. Well done, you played a 1 down. Someone plays down a 2. Then someone plays down a 4. Then someone plays down 2 1s. You think, great, they've 1-upped it. But they haven't just 1-upped it. 2 1s, surprisingly enough, is 21. Because it's the amount of cards in the meld plus the lowest value of the card in that meld when you play multiples like that. And that does take, like 3 3s is actually 33. Well, that makes more sense, but it's 3 7s is 37. It's just a whole, it takes a second to get used to. Once you do, it really is a good game. And that exact thing happened when I played it. We played it and then everyone at the table was like, I want this game. Writing down what it is. It's really fun. And it's just a fast and furious, light-hearted card game, and then someone plays down a hair card that's worth like, did I say Fast and Furious? It's just on my mind. Imagine that. That would be I'd watch that film. And someone plays down the 50 and you lose. Oh, damn it. It's really good. The 3 to 6 player Nana is up next, which was later reprinted as Trio, as this little card game in which players are looking for 3 of a kind. On your turn, you simply choose any single card to reveal, either the low or high card from a player's hand, including your own, or any face-down card from the table. Then do this again. If the 2 cards show the same number, then you continue as you try to find a third. But if they don't share a number, and then your turn's over, and you lose that turn. You won't get another turn. Someone else wins. It's the first to reveal sets that add up to 7, or have the set that is 7, which is the hardest one to get and the best picture on the cards because it's got pigs on it, or to have 3 sets. Gerard L says, super fun for all ages, a much better version of Go Fish type of game. And he's not wrong. There is certainly a very childlike joy to the game, Trio or Nana. It kind of does feel like Go Fish, because you're going, what's your lowest card? It's like, have you got a 7? Have you got a 3? What's your lowest card? But there's such a lot of memory in it, and you go, okay, I saw the other 11. I know it exists. I cannot remember where it is. And it just brings out so much joy and laughter and fun. It really is a very special little card game. And I don't say that about all card games. Nana has something really special about it. And there's the cards out on the table as well. And you've got to remember what they are. Every time I've played this with a new group of people, much like Volumino, people have wanted to get it and have asked me later on what the game was called, because it just brought out the best in people, I think. And that's a real charm to Nana. It is said that the Huiracocha created the Sun and the pre-Columbian tribes of the Andes. Under his leadership, those who will train the mighty Inca people came out of their caves to discover new horizons in order to subsist and grow in harmony with nature. They venerated Pachamama, Mother Earth, the basis of all living things, plants and minerals on Earth and under the Earth. I think that whole tagline made more sense when the game was still called Pachamama. It's now called Tiwanaku, in which you lead your tribe into unknown territory in search of new land to cultivate. Your goal, to explore regions and draw outlines to develop cultures according to the customs and legacies of Pachamama. If you honour her by respecting the great principles of diversity and complementarity, nature will reward you. Otherwise, you will suffer his wrath. In this race of risk-taking, deduction, intuition, and good sense of timing should allow you to get through. Again, we have Kenneth K who says, I love how this is such a great, simple, brain-burning exercise. Again, could be witches. The wheel that is used in the game to determine hidden tile types and crops is a hefty beast to load and take apart after each game. Not often you get a game component that requires tools to take apart and assemble for each game, but if you like Sudoku puzzles, this is like playing two-layer Sudoku. You have the first layer, which is the tile type, and the second layer, which is the crop type. Every time I play, at some point I get a surprise answer because something in my logic went wrong. I love that moment when I finally figure out and realise my error. Perhaps someday I will get it right the first time. This really has a lot of like what Minesweeper is. It's like Minesweeper, the board game on steroids, because you're working out things based on what else is there, because you know what this is. I'm not going to be able to explain how this game works, but it's a game of deduction, but you can tell certain things because certain things have to be true of a group, and you can tell what needs to be in a group by what is in the group already and the things that can't be next to each other. So you go, that needs to have, this group needs to have a 3 in it, right? And there's a 2 there and a 1 there, and so I know that there isn't a 1 there, or there, or there, or there, or there, or there, or there. I know there isn't a 2 there, because they can't be next to each other. So the 3 can only be here because it's the only space there, because it can't be there. Stuff like that. It's devious, and it is a lot of fun, and I also was addicted to Minesweeper for a little time there. I don't know what happened, I just got really into Minesweeper. Minesweeper's fun. France, 1831, and your little village sees numerous... Why is everything so sinister today? Your little village sees numerous travellers pass through. And as a family of greedy rural farmers... Yeah, greedy rural farmers. That's stereotype. You are determined to make a fortune. How, you ask? Well, you have devised a diabolical stratagem to achieve this goal. Invest in an inn so you can rob travelling guests so you can get rich without arousing the suspicion of the police. Whether or not their plan will work out, one thing is certain. Not every guest will leave this inn alive. It's true of any inn, right? That's true of any inn. There's no guarantee you're leaving alive. Things happen. The Bloody Inn, while being a pretty on-the-nose name if you're going to be murdering people in your inn, is a card game for wonderful players in which you play as one of the members of a greedy murderous innkeepers, which is of course a classic board game theme. As guests arrive, you can earn money by keeping them alive, but there's more money in the other actions. You can bribe them to help you out. You can build an annex, maybe to get special ongoing abilities, so you have space to bury your victims, because another action is kill a guest, as this is also you can take their money and have the most money at the end of the game. Orangeville says that the artwork on this game is so unique and eye-catching and sets the stage for a game for those that have a dark sense of humour. Plus, it was fun to sit around the table and complain about how the police had once again decided to stay in your hotel. You can't find the time or accomplices to bury the bodies that are sitting out back. Relatable. I really like the Bloody Inn. It's a game I've owned for a very long time, but it is one of those games I have to relearn every time I play it, because it is quite unique in what it does, but it's really actually quite simple. And there's also a thing where you have to kind of like cash in your money. You kind of, because you can only earn 40 money as points, but you can cash in to get 10 franc tokens, so you can earn money again. So you're always trying to balance that out. You're trying to get all the special abilities. You're trying to make as much money as possible. You're trying to think, who do I murder? Who do I keep alive? Who do I use for their ability? What buildings do I get? And you're trying to beat everyone to it. It kind of is like a big game of chicken. And then everyone starts murdering everyone. It's brilliant. The Bloody Inn is absolutely fantastic. The Rebel Alliance fights valiantly against the tyranny of the Galactic Empire. Each new victory brings the rebels hope, and each heroic sacrifice strengthens their resolve. Still, the Empire's resources are vast, and the firepower of the Empire's navy is unmatched. the next game is not unmatched. With neither side willing to accept defeat, the war rages across the galaxy. Star Wars the deck building game is a head-to-head game for 2 players, the galaxy-spanning war between the Galactic Empire and the Rebel Alliance. You and your opponent each choose a side, playing as either the Empire or the Rebels, and as the game progresses you both strengthen the power of your starting decks and work to destroy each other's bases. The first player to destroy 3 other opponent bases wins. Elizabeth S says, easy rules, still I lost. Had a good time. More of a haiku than really a comment, but I did appreciate it. Star Wars the deck building game is, obviously it's a deck building game, right? And it's Star Wars, so you would imagine quite popular. But was there an expansion to this? Is there an expansion like in the line, in the works? Are they working on one? You really would think that they would do that because the game looks pretty cool, honestly. And I'm a recent convert to the possibility of actually playing a game based in a Star Wars world, because I love Star Wars Unlimited, and finally I've had to learn the names of characters that in the past merely looked like Fishman and Bad Hair Hero. And a lot of people have said, oh, this is just Star Realms again. But it's really not, because, I mean, it is in some ways, but it's a deck builder, right? And what you're doing is you're trying to get as much good stuff into your hand by buying cards, but everything in the card row is either Rebel or like Empire. And you can't buy your opponent's cards, but you can destroy them in the marketplace, the space theatre. And when you destroy your opponent's cards in the theatre, not only are you stopping them from being able to buy that thing, you also get an ability for having destroyed it. So it's kind of like a real back and forth in that way, that's quite unique. And you have 3 bases. Your first base has no ability, but once you've got rid of that base, once it's been destroyed, you get to pick from a big deck of bases. So the way that, and each base has a different special ability on, so the way that you progress in the game is your decision. You've decided, I'm going to take this base because I think this power is going to work best against what my opponent's doing right now. It gives me this ability. And it also acts as a bit of a catch-up mechanism, but it means that you're making those decisions. It's not being made for you, which is a separate layer of decision making. And also, while you're doing all this, you are trying to do damage to your opponent's base. I just think it sounds like a really fun deck building game, and I would like to try it. But if I really like it, I'm also going to want them to have made some expansions, because that's the very nature of deck building games, I feel like. In Ready, Set, Bet, you and 8 of your friends, who has 8 friends, can head to the races for a day of cheering, jeering and betting on your favourite horses, whose fates hang on every roll of the dice. Rather makes it sound like those horses aren't going to make it out alive, but I think it's not quite as sinister as that. Ready, Set, Bet is played over 4 rounds. Each round consists of a race followed by a bet resolution. During each race, players freely place their bet tokens on the board while the race is going on. After each race, players win or lose money for each of their placed bet tokens, then receive a VIP club card to help them win more money in the following races. After 4 rounds, the player with the most money wins. Evan S says, it's one of the few games my brother loves playing. I bring it every time I go see my parents. That is an opinion I can really relate to. No pun intended there, but when a game is something that my brother likes, I'm so much more likely to just buy it, actually, or just keep it around for sure. The thing with Ready, Set, Bet is it is absolute chaotic nonsense as it's going on. And one player, there is an app that does this, but one player is like the calling the race. I tell you what, I enjoy just calling the race because I get to do funny commentary, horse race stuff that I'm pretty sure everyone enjoys. And you're rolling these dice, it's moving these horse forward, and that's going on the side whilst you're playing on the bets, and you're listening to what's going on. And okay, this horse is doing better now, I'm going to bet here, and this horse is doing better, I'm going to think that this thing might happen. And it really is the closest to being at a casino or being at a horse race. It really is one of the most thematic games I can think of. It's so unique. Ready, Set, Bet is a miraculous design that it actually works. For generations, the rats in the old junkyard have been telling each other the great legend about the moon made of cheese, and they want nothing more than to reach that inexhaustible treasure. One day, the little rat children, this is the real tagline, one day the little rat children discovered a comic in the junkyard that described the first landing on the moon. And thus, a plan was born. Build a rocket and take over the cheese moon. Again, this is the real theme. I've not added anything to that. In First Rat, 1 to 5 players start out with a meager 2 rats and a dream. On your turn, you move your rats forward on a path to collect resources, cheese, tin cans, apple cores, baking soda, stuff rats enjoy. You're collecting these goods to build a space rocket, as well as cleverly maneuver yourself on the board to unlock bonuses, special scoring opportunities, and to get more rats into place. You have more options moving forward. Jonathan L says, what a great game. This was a new discovery at Aircon this year, and we loved it so much that we bought it straight away. The theme definitely enhanced a mechanism that we already love. We also enjoy how differently you have to play, whether it's a 2-player or at a higher player count. And all the talk of Cheese Moon just made me want to watch Wallace and Gromit, which is never a bad thing. It's called First Rat. Yeah. That's why I was interested in this game. And the cool thing about this is it's not by the same designers, but it really reminds me of some classic board game design with a game called The Flicks, with 2 X's at the end. And also the newer game Wandering Towers, which are both by Kramer and Kiesling, the design pair of the epic design pair behind many, many games. But in essence, you're not rolling a dice or anything. You've got the option to move 1 rat 1 to 5 spaces or 2 rats 1 to 3 spaces. And you want the rats to land on the same thing so you can get multiples of resources. And you think, all I'm doing is moving my rat forward and landing on something and taking the resources. But it's how you do that. And other rats on the board block spaces and you have to pay them off with cheese. Obviously, that's how you pay a rat off. And you're trying to collect certain resources so you can set collect to then later on up the board get your rocket so you can get points for majorities of people that are on the moon, I guess. And you want to get extra bonuses so you need the resources to buy the bonuses so that you can get points for having sets of apple cores and stuff like that. It's one of those really simple games that says this is how you move, that's the whole game, but it gives you so many different things that you want to do on your turn, and you also have another track. Man, I'm excited about this game. There's also another track that you can do to get resources, but you can also get more rats out so you can have more opportunities later on. It's a game I've not played, but I really want to try, and doing the research on the game has just made me more excited about it, honestly. Come Sail Away is a game for 1 to 4 players in which you compete to board passengers upon your luxury liner, bringing them to their favourite cabins and facilities. Players are told that they can enjoy a deliciously thoughtful and brightly illustrated game that is simple to learn, yet always challenging. The aim of Come Sail Away is to get your passengers into your cruise ship as smoothly as possible, earning points in the process. In addition to earning points for filling each room on the ship, you can earn bonus points for filling certain rooms faster than other players. Further, by guiding passengers with luggage to their cabins, players can advance on the luggage track, allowing you to place additional small cabins, gain additional passengers, and earn bonus points. As the game progresses, it is also important to think ahead and make sure that your ship has room for passengers, or else you'll have a crowd of disgruntled passengers at hand. And I know for certain that each disgruntled passenger at the end of the game is minus 1 point. That's one of the rules. Disgruntled. Chris C says it's one of those games that starts off easy enough, but ends up with you ripping your hair out from tough choices. So the core mechanism behind Come Sail Away is all about Mancala. Now, if you've ever watched videos that I've done before, you may have heard me say that I love games that have Mancala in. So I really want to get this game, but it's just difficult to acquire, I think. Because you gain these passengers in and you put them on your board in a certain sequence. You draw these cards and you get to pick between 2 cards and it shows you the passengers kind of boarding your ship. So I need to put a blue next to a black next to a red. Where do I put them? Well, that blue is good here because I want 2 blues and 2 reds in this room. And this cabin wants 3 red passengers and this one wants 1 of each colour. But I've got to put them in and you're constantly trying to make the decision, it looks like, between making an optimal choice and a suboptimal choice. And you kind of, okay, this room is just not going to work out. No one's happy here. This room's probably not scoring. But the room next to it is doing great. Everyone's having a great time in there. And the cool thing is that if you do these bonuses, you get points for filling rooms faster, but you also get these cards which you can put on like little annexes to your cruise ship where they open new rooms. So your Mancala kind of like wheel that you're making is growing and giving you extra options. There's one little like ballroom in the middle, the grand staircase I think it's called, where you can kind of drop off a bunch of passengers of 3 different colors, but it's like 5 different colors of passengers. I want to play this game so much. But that is a sampling of what our viewers have been playing this month. To join the discussion for next episode, follow the link in the description to our Patreon to find out how to pick the games featured in the People's Choice and to see the games on our own personal radars. Continue on to this month's On the Radar. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you over there.